What is up, guys? EJ here, aka PuckBond007, and welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100, this great collaboration channel on YouTube and Facebook that I am proud to be a part of. So this week is Jake Gyllenhaal week. Jake Gyllenhaal, a fine young actor, been around a while now. Of course, his older sister Maggie Gyllenhaal, a talented actress in her own right. But yeah, I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal ever since, basically since I saw him in October Sky from 1999. That's a good film. And yeah, he's been doing good work for over a decade now. Alan did a great review of Source Code, which is a cool sort of sci-fi action film from a couple years ago. Really looking forward to seeing Prisoners. I haven't seen that yet. I've got it in my Netflix queue. Should be coming this week, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. He's in that film. Heard good things about that movie with Hugh Jackman. So yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. So the film I chose for this week, big budget disaster film, and that is The Day After Tomorrow from 2004, directed by Roland Emmerich, who's basically known for these big budget epic films. Sort of started out doing action and sci-fi movies. He directed the original Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. Then he went on to direct Stargate in '94. Then of course his huge hit Independence Day in 1996. Love that film. Alien invasion movies are some of my favorite, and I love Independence Day. Then of course he went and directed Godzilla, the 1998 sort of flop. He directed The Patriot with Mel Gibson from 2000. Really good film. I really like that movie. Then he did this film, and since then he did 10,000 BC in 2008, which isn't a great film, but I sort of enjoy it. 2012, another epic disaster film from 2009. I really enjoy that film, sort of for the scientific reasons and the whole sort of mystery surrounding the whole 2012 phenomenon. Anonymous, which is sort of a departure from him, about William Shakespeare, and his most recent film, White House Down. Yeah, he seems to like taking shots at sort of monuments, famous monuments. He's destroyed New York a couple of times in his movies, and White House Down, of course, took his shot at the White House. So The Day After Tomorrow stars Dennis Quaid. He plays a climatologist who studies sort of the North Atlantic current, the ocean current that sort of controls the weather throughout the northern hemisphere. And the film opens up with he and his team down in Antarctica, taking samples of ice cores, and of course a big piece of the ice shelf breaks off, and he believes that this dumping, the melting of the ice caps, the polar ice caps, is dumping all this fresh water into the ocean, and it could be a big problem for the world in a number of years. But he only thinks it's going to be about 10 years, maybe 100 years, who knows, maybe 1,000 years, that this could really affect the climate. The issue of global warming is his area of expertise, and he believes that this could end up turning the Earth into a new ice age, sort of a paradigm to what we think as global warming. So yeah, he goes to the government, warns them, the vice president, and they don't really take him very seriously. But then of course we start seeing all kinds of sort of extreme weather phenomenon. We get massive hailstorms in, I believe that scene takes place in like Hong Kong or something. Of course we get massive, huge tornadoes in Los Angeles. That's a fun scene, but it's kind of ridiculous. There's like five or six huge tornadoes ripping through Los Angeles, while reporters are in the middle of it trying to cover it. And then, of course, three big sort of winter storms start forming over the northern hemisphere. One's coming down from Canada and North America. There's one over northern Europe, and there's one over Russia, Siberia. Along the way, he also is in contact with a fellow researcher that's headed in this place in Scotland called the Headland Institute, and that's headed by the great actor Ian Holm. Ian Holm, of course, plays Bilbo Baggins in The Lord of the Rings. Fine actor. So yeah, they're passing information back and forth. They're worried that the temperature in the North Atlantic has dropped 13 degrees as these buoys start going off. There's been a huge temperature drop in the temperature in the water in the ocean there. Meanwhile, his son is of course played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's basically comes from a broken home because his parents are at least separated. Dennis Quaid is married to Celia Ward, or was, but they're not living together. And Gyllenhaal plays this young guy, I guess a young, either college student or senior in high school, and he's joined this academic bowl team, and he's going to go off to New York City to compete with his fellow classmates. And the only reason he's on the team is because of a girl, and a fine girl she is too, and that's the lovely Emmy Rossum. Emmy Rossum from Phantom of the Opera and Shameless now. Yeah, really, really cute, good-looking girl. So he's on the team because of her, and they go off to New York to compete in this academic bowl. While they're there, the weather turns very bad in New York City. A huge wall of water comes in from the Atlantic. The ocean has risen like 20 or 30 feet, and it comes sweeping in. I really like this scene because it's different from the sort of quote tsunami wave that you see in other disaster movies. It's not a proper tsunami wave. It's like the whole ocean just rolls in, and it's like 20 foot higher, or maybe even more. It looks pretty awesome when it comes over and washes over the city, covers all the streets in water, brings in ships from the ocean, and basically Jake Gyllenhaal and Emmy Rossum and a couple of other guys managed to escape the rising water, and they hole up in the New York Public Library with a whole bunch of other stranded people. And he basically gets in touch with his dad, Dennis Quaid, and finds out what's going on. And he tells him, "You got to stay inside." Because the storm is going to turn a lot worse. It's going to turn into a blizzard, a snowstorm, and if you go outside, you're going to freeze to death. The stuff involving the eye of the storm with the super cooled, it's like minus 150 below zero temperature, that the scenes involving that are kind of ridiculous in this film, especially when they're like sort of running from it and all the like buildings are turning white and cracking when they're running away from this super freezing death ray of coldness. It's really quite funny. So he tells him to avoid that, stay inside, keep warm, burn what you can, and of course they resort to burning books inside the library, while all these other stranded people decide they're going to go out in the snow. Once this water gets frozen over and covered in snow, they're going to try and make it. Meanwhile, of course, Dennis Quaid tried to warn the government, but it became too late, and the evacuation plan happens sort of a little bit too late, as half of the country, half of the United States gets evacuated to the south. It's kind of an interesting scene when you have all these refugees from America heading over the Mexican border, as opposed to the opposite way around. Um, so yeah, that's interesting. And Dennis Quaid, of course, promises Jake Gyllenhaal, his son, that he's going to go after him. He's going to go get him. So he and his little team set off in the snow to find Jake Gyllenhaal and sort of bring him back, save him. And he promises to do that. And that's really sort of the crux of most of this film. It's really about a father and his son, sort of trying to survive this climate shift, this new ice age that covers the entire globe, or at least the northern hemisphere, in snow and ice. And then afterwards, the Earth will get back to a balance once the sunlight is, I guess, reflected from all the snow and the ice. Um, I'm like I said, I'm very interested in these type of films. More so the science of disaster films than sort of global catastrophe, that type of thing. It's not a great film, but it's one I've always enjoyed. I've seen it a number of times now. It's got some good effects. Like I said, some of the disaster scenes are cool. The tornado sequence and when New York gets covered in water, and then like when you see it covered in snow, and like the great Statue of Liberty is like half covered in snow, and you only see the arm and the head covered in ice and stuff. That's cool. And like ships pushed up against like the New York City skyline, stuff like that. So yeah, that's The Day After Tomorrow with Jake Gyllenhaal, fine young actor to be sure. Make sure you check out all the guys' videos this week, seeing what guys wanted to talk about. There's going to be some good movies that they're going to talk about this week, so I'm looking forward to catching their videos as well. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.